There is a moment that confuses most people. It's when someone who once disrespected you suddenly comes back. They don't apologize. They don't explain. They don't acknowledge what happened. They just act as if nothing ever occurred. Most people interpret this as peace, as reconciliation, as maturity. It isn't. It's a power check. And if you misunderstand this moment, you lose leverage without realizing it. In this video, I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm not going to tell you to forgive, heal, or move on. I'm going to explain what is actually happening psychologically when people return after disrespect, why they come back, what they're testing, and why most people give up power at the exact moment they believe they've regained it. If you've ever wondered why silence works better than confrontation, this will answer it. People don't come back because they changed. They come back because the situation changed. When you stop reacting, stop chasing explanations, or move forward quietly, something important disappears. Predictability. As long as you were emotional, reactive, or available, you were easy to read. Once you detach, they no longer know where they stand. And uncertainty is deeply uncomfortable for people who once felt superior. That discomfort is what brings them back. Not guilt, not growth, not respect, curiosity. They return to reassess the situation, to see if they still have access, to see if their previous position still holds, to see whether they miscalculated you. This is where most people make their first mistake. They rush to confront. They rush to explain how they felt. They rush to clarify boundaries. They rush to close the chapter. What they don't realize is that every word they offer is information, and information restores the other person's advantage. When someone comes back after disrespect, they are not offering peace. They are observing. They're watching how quickly you respond, how much you reveal, how emotional you become, whether you reopen old wounds. They're measuring whether silence made you stronger or simply quieter. Machiavelli understood this dynamic clearly. Weak behavior is driven by emotion. Strategic behavior is driven by timing. Weak people seek relief. Strategic people seek position. When you confront too early, you relieve uncertainty. When you explain too much, you clarify your stance. When you demand closure, you give them something valuable. Certainty. Silence, on the other hand, does something uncomfortable. It forces the other person to reveal intention. Without information from you, they have to act. And action exposes motive far more reliably than words ever will. This is why silence feels powerful. Not because it's passive, but because it withholds the very thing people use to regain control. Most people believe closure gives them power. It doesn't. Closure gives emotional relief, not leverage. Power stays with the person who lets the other side move first, who lets patterns form, who watches behavior instead of trusting language. There are two types of people who come back after disrespect. The first comes back out of weakness. They feel threatened by your absence. They fear losing relevance. They want reassurance that they still matter. Their behavior is inconsistent. They test lightly. They retreat quickly. They seek emotional reactions. The second comes back strategically. They are calm, polite, measured. They don't rush the conversation. They don't demand explanations. They're gathering data. They want to know whether you've grown stronger or simply gone quiet. This is the dangerous type. Because if you misread them, you give them exactly what they're looking for. Most people reveal their strength too early. They explain how well they're doing. They talk about growth. They describe lessons learned. What they don't realize is that visible strength invites adaptation. Once people know where you stand, they adjust. They prepare. They compensate. They regain footing. True leverage comes from being underestimated, from allowing others to operate on outdated assumptions, from letting silence distort their predictions. If you want control, don't let them see your strength until it's already too late to adjust. This isn't about revenge, it's about positioning. The strongest position is not dominance, it's ambiguity. Ambiguity forces caution. Caution slows action, and hesitation creates mistakes. Silence doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you don't reveal your hand. You observe who grows uncomfortable, who becomes curious, who starts circling again, because not everyone who returns wants peace. Some return to reassess, some return to prepare, and some return because they believe they still have access. Knowing which one you're dealing with determines whether you maintain the upper hand or lose it quietly. In the next video, I'll explain how to tell the difference before they act. Not after the damage is done, before.